Classic. Okay, you're here today. Jim Schuyler, for those of you who know me. Let's start with our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. Gary, would you mind doing a prayer for us today?
Bow for a moment. Dear Lord, thanks for the opportunity for us to be here safely on a beautiful sunny day. Be with all of those that could not be with us today, that are maybe traveling and enjoying their family, or maybe that are home suffering with some illnesses. Please help heal them. And thank you for the opportunity that you give us every day to choose to serve. And help guide us in using our abilities to our best and to stay healthy and safe. Bless this food to our bodies. Amen.
You see me? All right, everyone. Good afternoon. I just have a few announcements and a couple of items to cover in Kyle's absence. And then we'll hand things off to Gary. So I'd like to, well, actually, sorry, we'll hand things off for our tail twister after I'm done. Then we'll move on to that.
Yeah.
The first is raffle tickets. We have the Lions of Michigan Service Foundation Sight and Hearing Sweepstake raffle tickets. They're $10 a piece. If anyone is interested in them, I'll be more than happy to take them. We'll just need you to fill out the stub and keep your portion of the ticket, and we'll be good on those. On the tables, you will see the brochures for Drive for Vision. The committee is hard at work making sure that that is going to be an excellent time this year, as always. So please consider sponsorship and attending if you can make it, if you like golf, or if you are not good at golf and like just riding around in the carts, that is also a great time. That may be what I spend my time doing. We are still on the hunt for a vice president. We have some feelers out there, but a lot of scheduling conflicts have prevented folks from being able to take on that role. We're also still looking. There are shoes that no one can fill for our secretary position, but we're working to make that a little bit less daunting of a prospect for someone. So we are still hunting for a secretary. Gary, is going to cover some conversation around where we're going to be moving luncheons. And other events, but I'll leave that for him, not steal his thunder. And I'm looking to see if I have any other business here. We do have some Lions Years of Service pins that we need to go through and make sure they get to the correct folks. But if you have been a 35 or I believe a 25-year Lion, 20 plus? Oh, 10 plus year Lions, we have those service pins. So we have some specific names that those need to go to as well. And with that, I believe that covers my business. Again, if you're interested in the raffle tickets, please come see me. I will get them for Kyle. We'll make sure that he gets those and Drive for Vision as well. Thank you so much. And Jamie, yeah, hey Jamie, is now a good time for handing off?
Whatever you do, you're the boss.
Oh no, that feels like a mistake. I might be awkward for this one, but I'll get a lot weirder.
So give this one out here that's here for 35 years of Lions service of being a member of the Grand Rapids Lions Club. Lion Rick Stevens.
There we go.
Really fun here.
Here.
Okey-doke. Does anybody not have their pin on? Anyway, mine isn't here, hidden a little bit, not meant to be, but yeah.
Oh, I like
The second
that,
guy.
little stealth, make them wonder.
But, okay, any happy bucks? I know what yours is, and I'm gonna be following up with that one, but I'm guessing. Go ahead, Ron.
Blue. There we go.
Any other happy bucks?
I got a happy box for you, Jim.
Okay.
My father and I had a successful trip to Uganda, 10 days in country. We got all of our interviews with the folks we were meeting with, the clinic and the school, and get some good work done. It's really exciting. I'm happy to be home. happy back in the States.
But you didn't get to deliver some of your stuff, did you?
No, we were held up by some governmental intrusion on some reading glasses. We'll have a much happier update as soon as those make it to the
Or
clinic.
they at least claimed they were government people working for it.
That's correct,
Not
yeah.
just the money that they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Well, I'm keeping drop everything here. Yes, and I have Happy Bucks also. Oh, Lynn.
We're home from 2 months in Arizona. And I can't say much about Michigan because I didn't have a dog in that fight.
Well, I've got oh, your pen?
Yeah.
I don't give change. You haven't learned that yet? It sort of burns it in your brain a little bit more that way.
We have a guest.
Yeah, no. And I have Happy Bucks like Lynn. I'm happy that I got back from Florida on Sunday. We were there for a couple of weeks. And this week down there is looking like total garbage. So, yeah, I got some friends down there. They're
For spring break. Thank you very much.
spring break. Yep. And I don't know. Oh, well, I got a Happy Buck for Michigan, of course. It was a nice game and glad we won. Moving on. Any other Happy Bucks? And we have a guest here. Understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
PJ Coolmine has joined our firm and also has a tax prep practice that he's running as well.
Oh, welcome.
Raffle.
I grabbed one, I never threw them in.
I'm,
Oh,
Put it on. Yeah.
we'll get him in there.
It should be, we'll write that in.
I didn't start the war.
You didn't?
I didn't start that war.
Okay. Yes. I got too many things in my hand.
Long riding.
Right there. Put it here. Okay.
Ready to sell, kids get to the school.
Oh, you. First ticket for $5. Please read.
336472.
That would be me.
Okay. I'll get you 5 in a second. And the next one? No.
Have Jim pull it. You won.
That's where I was planning on. Did you put this in there and we're just gonna keep it growing instead?
See you.
No, it was 495-350. 350. Oh.
Grandpa.
Worth coming to.
Yeah, there you go. Stop doing it for long. Shit.
Oh.
Red one?
Red one.
No, you're supposed to kind of set them aside and.
It was on top.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. What was your fault?
Everyone out in with. What do you want to do?
Jim said go ahead.
Oh, no,
I'm gonna go ahead.
just want to make sure we're all set, yeah. And without further ado. Gary.
Jim mentioned the downtown market. We've been looking for an opportunity and what would make it easier for we as the board for lunches. This facility is great in terms of physical facility. It's a little bit tough with ordering food ahead of time and having to guarantee that a week or 10 days out. And it also puts a lot of responsibility on the secretary, which is as we're looking for a new secretary, we're looking at taking away some of the responsibilities of what the secretary has to do. So we went and looked at the downtown market, which is, if you've never been there, it's pretty nice. They have a very nice room that we can have. It costs a little less than this room. And we could all go and just order your lunch and buy your lunch before the meeting starts. And they have 20 different food vendors in there, all different, everything you can imagine. And it works out, they'll store our container for us at no cost. They gave us a good rate. We'll have a television just like this that'll slide in there. It's also a place that we could hold some other events because they have other room sizes. The room we looked at is called the street side room, right on the street and on the northwest corner. And just across that street, I think that's Ionia, is a parking lot that it's not the parking lot of the downtown market. It's part of the city lot, but it's $1 an hour. And it's about 50 feet to walk across to the building. So we're going to have a vote of the board, decide if we're going to move our meetings there. But it would be, I think, very convenient, a very easy place to get to. And to choose what you want to eat or what you don't want to eat. So we wouldn't have to incorporate food cost into anything that we do. Any questions on that? Any feedback?
Same timeline,
Same time? Yep.
and I think the suggestion of having a time to go down there, maybe a social time for us, for everybody.
Well, we're looking at that with the social committee to do that in May, to have an evening at 5 o'clock or 4:45 or something like that. And have an event there that everybody could come and get used to it, see what it's like. We wouldn't have a big meal, but maybe some hors d'oeuvres and beverages available. So we can walk through it and see what it is. And bring some guests and just see what that is. It's a very upbeat, younger place. Bob?
You're exploring meeting more than once a month?
Right now, it's just once a month, just trying to maintain what we're doing now, but just make it more, I'm trying to be more cost effective. And make it easier on these reservations and deciding the food and all that stuff. Very difficult to do when we have to do that.
And they do offer catering if we have an event there.
Yeah, well, they've got full catering and you can have any of the vendors cater. They have their own catering service, so they've got a lot of flexibility. Jim's looking at having our annual meeting there upstairs in the second floor. We have a room.
We've had some company events, my company, really successful. People have enjoyed both the venue and the food, and it just has provided a lot of flexibility for us, so I think it's gonna be good to explore.
Yeah, it's not high end, but it's obviously it's not free, but it's a very nice facility, very nice place. So,
Parking. They park in the
City market. They can, yes.
you can park in the city park of that, but the other lot has got plenty of spots in it.
no, I'm saying so. Some, the complaint here was some people.
For accessibility,
It's accessibility.
yes,
That lot is actually more accessible than this lot. Okay,
yeah, the whole facility is significantly more
yeah,
accessible.
it's like walking across 2 sidewalks here, that's as far as you have to go to that grass. So it's close.
So the lunches are. Everybody pays their own lunch as they go.
Yeah. Yeah, or no lunch, whatever you want, maybe you just want dessert.
Yeah, there's a French little patisserie there, Gabby's, he's a really nice guy, and the little treats are sometimes all I go for, so you do have options.
There's a lot of options, yes. So what I'm really here to talk to you about is trip that Cheryl and I just eventually came back from India, called the Global Service Week. Is that too much? Does that work?
They were.
Is that needed? Does it help? It helps a little. I just got these hearing aids, so I'm learning how to use them. In February, we joined the Global Service team again. This was our 3rd excursion with them. And these are lines from mostly the United States, but some from other countries, Germany, France, the United Kingdom. And there's 42 members of the team. Our first time with them, we went to Nairobi, Kenya, and did 6 different types of service, of which vision was a small part of that. The second time we went was to Morocco a year ago. Was that a year ago? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And a little more vision. And then this one is to India, southern India, Vizag, which is short for a really long name, in south eastern India on the coast. And it was planned to be a 12-day trip. And the vision was going to be the big part of what we did. So I was in charge of vision. And I'll just kind of go through what we did. Left on February 17th. Flew to New York. And then the next day flew halfway around the world to Delhi. So that kind of shows you showing up. Yeah. And very nice trip over. It's a long way. What does it say? 7,290 miles?
How long a flight was?
14 hours. So it wasn't too bad going there. It was a little longer coming home. So we met, this was when we first got off the plane there, because not everybody came on the same flight, but this was about 20 of our group. Again, just from all over the United States. And as we got off the plane in Vizag, we went to Delhi first and then transferred and flew down to Vizag. The Lions were there late at night to greet us and feed us some coconut milk, which was very refreshing. And if you've ever gone overseas and to these airports, they're usually a madhouse of people waiting there for you. But it was, they're very gracious. And then they packed us into 2 trucks. I didn't think they'd ever get all our luggage in because we had to bring all of our equipment with us. We each had 50-pound bags, 3 50-pound bags. In India, the cows can go anywhere. So this was the first morning. We actually came a day early to try to get used to the time. We were not in Visa in our main hotel. We were about 45 minutes away because they had a military celebration with ships from around military ships from around the world that were there that day. When we got there, they were just finishing up. And so we went out for a walk in the morning along the beach, along the ocean. And it was pretty nice. I thought I was going to go in and swim. I got in not even up to my middle of my calves, and the current was so hard pulling me out that's as far as I went. And this is all lava rock underneath there. So they have a mermaid there, and again, you don't walk out there barefoot. But it was very pretty. Also found some Lions benches. These are donated by the local Lions, so they have a really nice park there. And 2 of the buddies, Chris and Frankie, and I were kind of thirsty, so we went out walking down into town. And this was their version of Total Wine. On the way back, we saw kids playing cricket. And that was kind of fun. They're just like our guys out playing ball or playing soccer. They're out there playing cricket. And they all wanted to come up and talk to us because we were obviously very different than they were. Packed into the bus. This is going from the first hotel to the second one, and they just jam things in and pile it on top. And the traffic there is pretty much insane. There's dotted lines, there's marked lines in the road, but it doesn't mean anything. Anybody been to India before? Okay. It's mayhem. And then there's the scooters. You see the women riding side saddle on the back of the scooter, and they'll often have a kid in the middle. And they just honk. Here's a kid in the middle. No, the driver's got a helmet on, but the kid doesn't. And then camels. So in the street, you can have cows or camels. And they are a priority because they have the right of way. You just get out of the way. This was the first morning of the mission, and we were up early. There was a strides walk, which is for diabetes awareness. We were up before the sun came up, We were 42 from our team. There was 80 volunteers from the India Lions that were working with us. So they had color coordinated shirts for us for every day. This was one of the days, but the first day was kind of a white t-shirt. And we were going to do beach cleaning. So here's the group, giant group, and there's the sunrise. And you can kind of see the haze in the background, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no clouds, but there's a haze. It's just pollution all over the place, all the time. And most everybody had a cough after a couple of days. But this was a group we started with, bags, and there was kids out there, young people, Leos, that were helping us. There's Cheryl filling up her bag, and had gloves on, which really didn't fit me, so I kind of broke through the gloves. But we spent an hour and a half cleaning the beach.
And they do that every week.
And they do that every week. They come out every week just to clean the beach. There's garbage cans there, but they don't throw things in garbage cans. They just drop it. So the culture is a little different. Here we're finishing up. And another group, again, you're meeting people, locals that we didn't know, but it's a lot of fun to work together. Met some great young people that were out there just helping. They weren't part of the Lions. They just saw us working and came out to help us. Then later that day, we went to this Lions Women Vocational Training Center. And we were going to paint that wall that you see behind there.
There's the name of the city.
Vizag Hepatno. Okay, that's why they call it Vizag. So here we are walking down, and that wall to the right was the whole wall that we were going to paint white first and then stuff on it. So we started the painting the white. And there I am with Ivy. Where's Ivy from? Uganda?
Africa.
Uganda. A lion in the blue sitting on my shoulder so she could get her name up there on top. She wrote her name up there, and somehow I got stuck with doing all the top of the walls.
What they know about wars?
No. And this was really dilute, so it took like 2 coats. It was a lot. I was covered in paint,
It was like water.
wrecked a great pair of shorts. I wasn't too smart. And then they were painting things. So those that had artistic ability got to paint some stuff. A face, math things and equations and stuff. So it really looked great when we were done. Actually, we didn't finish in the morning. They went back in the afternoon as we went on the other things. That was the whole group of us and the volunteers. We also did diabetic screening. And how many did 225 diabetic screenings. So we would be doing one activity in one spot. Another part of the group would be in another area doing another one. So we weren't always doing all the same things. Cheryl and I never got to do the diabetic screening. But it's amazing when you see the amount of diabetes around the world.
That's what I was
Jamie.
wondering, if you saw the results of the testing. I mean,
It was just a blood test. It was just a simple blood, yes, right away.
yeah, so, and the numbers were particularly high compared to what we need.
Yes, much higher than ours. Right, it's kind of like when we're on a mission trip in Central America, South America, Mexico, and we find a lot of diabetics down there because their diet is so.
Referral thing or?
Yes. Mhm. Yep. Yep, great question. There were referrals. Hey, your blood sugar's high. We need to get you followed up. They have a Lions hospital there in town. So part of what we did with with the eye stuff too, if we had any medical reason for anything, we could refer to the Lions hospital. This was our first day, the first school we went to. They were planning on us originally when they set this trip up. They said we're going to do 7,500 screenings, and we do the screenings with the plus optics and the kids site screeners. If they fail the screening, then the docs do eye exams on them. So they first said 7,500. Then they said 10,000. Then they said 12,500. And the number kept going up. And so I was doing the math because I'm trying to figure out, I'm kind of running it. And we have optometrists in the United States. They don't have optometrists outside of the United States except for the United Kingdom. So they're ophthalmologists. They're not used to doing what we do on a mission trip. the retinoscopy and the optical stuff. They do the medical stuff. They have technicians doing the old school where you have a pair of glasses on and they put a lens in and they put another lens in, stuff out of the 1920s, which takes forever to do. So I figured the first, and there's usually a 15 to 20% referral rate on those that are screened. So 15 to 20% fail and then need an eye exam to find out if they need glasses or they have another health problem. Well, the first day we were supposed to do 3,500. If we had 20% referral rate, that would be 700 eye exams we had to do. And I had 3 of us optometrists on the team, and we can do 36 an hour, but we would have needed 21 hours to do all those eye exams.
Yeah.
So it turned out that the eye exams that we couldn't do, they could then do at the Lions Hospital. But we had 3 ophthalmologists working with us. We were able to do more, and then they had their docs, their technicians that were doing it in another room. So we were able to pretty much examine the ones that were referred. So the first day, this was the team. Of course, every day has a color coordinated shirt. This was us and the Lions from India. That's what we saw the first day. That's 1,000 kids standing out there at the school ready to be examined. It's a little intimidating to see that. But then they lined them up. They all had paperwork done. It took a lot to get them to get a right form that we could fill out the paperwork for them. But they had that all done ahead of time. So we had it split up into 2 screening rooms. Each room had 4 screeners in it, where these 4 screeners would screen the student. If they passed, might go back to class. If they were referred, we marked a refer on it, and then they would have to come into another room and see the docs. So each screener had a scribe. So if there was a referral, the screener would call off the numbers on the machine and the scribe would write it down. Right? Which worked really, really well. So Cheryl was in charge of one room because she's done this a lot. I had another doctor's wife, Gail, in charge of the other room. And we had 8 screeners running full time. Each screener can do about 100 an hour. Okay, so that's 800 an hour that we could go through. But we're also training people because some of these people had never done it before. Also, the Lions from India had never done anything like this before, so they wanted to be trained. At least they said they wanted to be trained. So this was the team with a screener and a scribe, and then after a while they would switch positions and the scribe would become the screener so that we could teach people. There's Cheryl running the device with Susie from the UK and just kind of showing her how to use it. And here they're teaching one of the Indian Lions, who was one of the great ones. He was there all the time. That's the other device, the spot device. And here they're going full blast. So we line the kids up. Crowd control is critical because everybody wants to come in. You got to line them up outside, and then you have to bring them in and then move them out. So it takes as many people in crowd control as it does doing the exams. The other room, and they're just in line, boom, and we've got the tape marked on the floor. We always use bright colored tape, mark it down there where they can stand in order. The kids were great. The kids are this is a public school, so they're not all in uniform, but many of the schools where the kids were all in uniform, even some of the public schools. Again, that in the middle of the hat on is Vice President Mark Lyon, who will be Lyon's president in July 1st. He was there for 4 days and he just worked. He worked all the time. He was my scribe for about 2 hours and a very smart guy. And he's just.
And so was his wife.
And his wife was there. He's not just there for the pictures. So we went the night before the first day. The night before the first day, we went to the site to see what it was like. Those of you that have been on mission know how disastrous it can be just walking in and you walk into a room full of stuff that you got to move everything. Well, they were clearing things out the night before and it looked like a battleground. We went up to the second floor where they said this is where the lunch is going to be, or a break room. And there was a second floor, but there was no walls. There was just pillars. Okay, cement pillars, posts. And I thought, this is going to be pretty dangerous. Well, by the time we came back the next day, they had carpeted the whole thing, this is up the stairs. And They kind of made it look like the Arabian Nights. They had curtains around there and it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it in the same spot. They took great care of us. They had food made at our restaurant. They had lunches made for us in boxed and they brought them there so that we had safe food. We didn't have to get something off the street or something that they made themselves. It was very, very safe to eat and very good. And again, that's Vice President Mark there on the right, and his wife Lynn on the right. Their last name is Lyon, Lyon. Her first name is Lynn, Lyn, so she's Lyon, Lynn Lyon. So here's the exam room where the docs are. So we lined up, we had 3 of us in a row. The ones in back there are the ophthalmologists. So after from India, and they were great. They spoke English, 2 out of 3. There was a husband and wife ophthalmologist and their niece who was about 35 years old, and they were really, really sharp. So when we had a referral, and after we did the exam on them for glasses, then they saw the medical doctor and they looked at anything else. Or if we saw something very unusual, like keratoconus or a very, very warped cornea, or we sent them there. And then they made sure that they were taken care of at the hospital. We had 7 patients with cataracts, 7 kids that had cataracts, and they had no idea they had cataracts. So they're getting the cataracts taken care of. So that's just me doing a scoping. And Dr. Cordes in the back there from New York. So they line up and you see that cross to the right there. You have them look at the cross, they've got to look across the room, and we can tell by shining the light in their eye and moving the lens bar what the power takes to focus the back of their eye. So within 95%, I can tell what their prescription is and write that out for them. Now I got to do the math in your head, and that's why when I have a scribe doing it, which we don't often have on our mission trips that we take, I just say what I'm seeing. I give him the numbers and he writes it down so I don't have to keep as much in my head. This was the ophthalmology family with the granddaughter who was just there and just polite and studying, and great kid. Here he is checking. Man, I finally got a tall patient. Okay. You'll see some of these other kids that are up to my knees and you have to get down on the floor to examine them. But then they started giving me the tall ones. And another medium tall one. That's sitting in the back there is Jim from Maryland, who was a scribe. Pretty good for a banker, a retired banker. So here the kids are sitting outside in one of the sites where they're filling out the forms, waiting to get in line. Lots of kids. It's a little intimidating at times, but the kids are all well-mannered, super polite. They all want their picture taken with you. And then some of them are all dressed up. They knew they were getting their eyes examined today by the Alliance team. So they were all dialed up.
How many sites did you go?
5. So we did exams for 5 days. We had no break in between. That first free day, where that shark face was the only one. Here they're lined up, and you can see in back, they're just waiting under the tent. Here's a couple of patients with glasses. So when they needed glasses, they had the lines there that had frames for them to try on. They put the frames on them, they adjusted them, and then 2 days later, they brought the glasses back to them and dispensed them at the school. We didn't have to do that. They brought them there, and this was a great one. Obviously, the one in front is a lion. She's just taking a picture. But this kid looks so sharp, about a minus 250. Okay, which means you can see about 16 inches away, clearly. And smart, polite kids. Another part of it is the project is called Keep the Girls in School. In all of these countries, teenage girls miss a week of school every month. All right, just because of having their period. And so this project was started for feminine napkins and disposable, and actually teaching them how to make their own and to teach them what was going on. I didn't do any of the teaching.
You were not allowed.
I was not allowed. They didn't have guys in there at all. And they showed them how to sew them, reusable, and it's a great program. And they've done this actually worldwide now with Lions. Then we went to a blind school, and this was kind of weird because they brought us to a blind school and they had us scheduled to do eye exams on them. I said, why are we doing exams on blind kids? Right? And he said, well, we think some of them have some vision. I said, well, they're gonna have some certain amount of vision. But a low vision exam for kids that are partially sighted takes an hour to an hour and a half. I said, we don't have any equipment to do that. And the kids were all sitting there just waiting for us to come. And you could tell that most of them were severely visually impaired. So our Lions sat down with them and talked with them. Okay, the kids could talk and they were there for a long time. Then we brought, I didn't bring it with me, the little soccer balls with us. It's called the Ball for All. I think I showed you before with noisemakers in it. And I had 70 of them, or 72 of them. So we packed them up and brought them along with us and distributed them here. So we had the Ball for All distribution. And the goal was to give every kid a ball that they get to keep. So here's out their courtyard. They were lining up in circles and we're going to kick balls back and forth and the Lions were going to go out there. And let me just, it should be, come back there.
Here's from Germany. It looks like the guy in the movie Up, doesn't he?
So it was interesting because it started out with the Lions just playing with the kids. But within about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the kids were playing with each other with the ball. Okay, and it was, they had a blast. Some of them we just tossed to them because it was on the ground, they couldn't locate it. But it was very successful. That's the balls piled up. We only had 72 balls. They have 170 kids there, so we're getting another 100 shipped there for them. And they were just enthusiastic. We also did tree planting. This is Cheryl's and my tree. Again, it really wasn't a tree planting thing. There was hundreds and hundreds of trees that were planted, but the hole was already dug. All you had to do is pick the tree up and stick it in the hole, okay? And put the dirt on it. Really not a project, but we had to get something since I'm a past director. They had to have one with my name on it, which is kind of silly. But there was another couple hundred trees that were planted.
But we were doing eye exams, so they pulled us out.
Right. Yeah, they were doing that while we were gone. So this is actually a student dressed like that. And then we did Feed the Hungry. So we did food packing, which we did fed for 100 families for a week. And measuring out the weight of rice and beans and onions, packing it up. And that was this was the final day, and that's the team when we're all finally done. And then we tried to get home, which was Saturday, February 28th, which we flew from Vizag to Delhi and supposed to fly from Delhi to New York, which is the way we came. And we got to Delhi and we had a 6-hour layover, and after 4 hours, we were sitting there just kind of waiting. All the flights were canceled because of the bombing in Iran. And they basically said, good luck. They rebooked us for March 11th to come home. Well, we weren't going to stay there for 12 days. And so it took us 6 hours in the airport to get our luggage out. And then we found a hotel that was supposed to be a Holiday Inn Express, which turned out to be something out of a scary movie. It wasn't a Holiday Inn Express. And we slept for 3 hours, got back to the airport, which we're back the next day. And we had these, on the left, there are 3 India Lions local Lions who came to help us, to try to get us on a flight, because it was just mayhem. It's just mayhem. Everybody's trying to get out. And they don't really wait well in line. So, and especially with Americans, I mean, we didn't have anything real negative. Part of our team, no, I'll tell you that. And so they tried to get us on a flight, couldn't get us on a flight, and they were able to get us to another hotel next to the airport. So we got in there, which was great because we got a pretty good sleep. Got up early. We were supposedly had flights out that they were trying to book out for us, the local Lion leader, but the flights fell through, couldn't do it. And we're just We got all the luggage, we're just trying to get out. It's kind of a helpless feeling when you're trying to get out of the country. And they're at the counter. And what turned out, we finally got out of Delhi. And we flew to Singapore. Okay, and they told us Singapore was probably the best place to go to because that has the most flights out. We got to Singapore, we're sitting there again, we had 6 hours of sleep in 2.5 days. And we're just sitting there trying to figure out what country can we fly to get somewhere. Somebody from our team went to Australia.
Cause we couldn't go west.
We can go west, but somebody flew south to Australia. From Australia, they got to Philadelphia somehow. But we had to go east. And so we got on a budget airline. I called Scott Brady because the airline was called Scoot Airlines. And run by 3 guys, and it was probably one of the nicest airlines I've ever been on in my life. Okay, 2/3 the price of Singapore Air. We got to Singapore, and that's an amazing place. It's 180 degrees different than India. Absolutely clean, almost like Disney World, polite. Everybody stays within the lanes and the roads, and
No motorcycles.
and motorcycles are all not scooting in front of you. That's the waterfall inside the airport in Singapore. It's really not a waterfall, it's all video, but it looks like a waterfall. And then from there, we flew to Tokyo and got there at 1 a.m. Supposedly our flight from Tokyo, we got booked Delta to Minneapolis to Grand Rapids, and then we found out that the next morning that flight was delayed. And then we're gonna have to stay in Minneapolis. I said, screw it, and we got on another one to Detroit, back to Grand Rapids, so we, hard part was finding a place to sleep. That's Cheryl sleeping in the back hallway in Tokyo Airport for a couple hours while I went up and hit a beer and a donut. We finally got to Detroit, so we started originally with 7 of us. There were 7 in the group plus two from the UK, so we were the Delhi 7 and our two
British chips.
British chips. Well, they eventually took off because they had to go another way, and we kept losing others as they had to go back to Philadelphia and to other parts of the country. And we got there, finally got home, and our oldest daughter and her kids were waiting there at the airport for us. So it was a great trip. Again, we saw 11,600 kids. We showed the Indian Lions what it was like to do service. India has got the caste system, and many of the lions that were there are used to being just in charge and having other people do it. Some of them wanted to be trained. We trained them, and after 10 minutes of getting their training and their picture taken, they were gone. Okay, a number of them stayed and worked. Okay, but many of them just wanted to be there for the show. But they were very impressed that we did all the work. It didn't matter if you were a vice president of Lions International, they were doing the work. So we do have something to teach in the United States on how to do service and how to just, I'll say, do the grunt work. Because everybody did it, enjoyed it, and we had a great time. We met a lot of nice folks. And we're glad to be home. It ended up taking us 112 hours to get home. But still fighting for some money back, but
And thankfully our luggage made it because every leg was a country. And if our luggage didn't make it to Singapore, we would never have gotten it because it would have been left in India.
yeah, so we went through immigration and customs a bunch of times
my
in and out of the country. They asked us where we were staying in this country, in Singapore, we're not staying there. Where are you staying in Tokyo? We're not staying.
We're staying at the
They
airport.
weren't gonna let me out of Delhi, because when I got to immigration the 3rd time, they said, well, you left yesterday. And I said, I didn't leave yesterday, I'm standing in front of you. And this was on Monday. And I said, we left Saturday, but our flight was canceled, so we didn't leave. He said, I see the stamp. He said, but you left yesterday. I said, look at your video. At this point, I'm getting a little bit tired with the guy. And I said, look at your videos and your pictures, because you take pictures of everybody when they leave the country or come in. He went away for 10 minutes, okay, and came back and just didn't even look at me and handed me my passport, just let me through. So it's great to be home. Any questions on the trip?
Most of the lions in upper levels of the caste system.
Are most of the Lions? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and you find that in many countries, where, the lower levels, the mid-levels, they don't get to become lions because they're just not let in. And that's not all over the place. It just depends on the cultures. The cultures are all different. But, we were very well taken care of. Our one group that left after us on Saturday was getting on the plane in, Vizag, and, the military came out and took them off the plane because they were Americans, and they replaced them with India residents. And they told them that their tickets were no good because they didn't get to the plane in time, even though they were on the plane. Well, our lion, in, India that was in charge of the whole thing was very influential, and he got a hold of the government and got it taken care of, and they got their tickets back. But, that was the only time we had any, I would say, anti-American activity. Every time they were all very, very friendly to us and very courteous, and took care of us.
Just wouldn't sell us a ticket home.
Hmm?
Just wouldn't sell us a ticket home.
We just couldn't get them. It was, so either way, it's a lot of fun. Jimmy?
So you were saying that with the prescriptions that you were able to get, they were able to have
They made new glasses for them
that same day?
2 days later.
2 days later?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a lab at their hospital where they can make glasses.
Is that the type of thing that Jamaica is expected to have? Is the
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A number of trips that I've been on, there's usually a presence of armed military milling about. Was it that way in India?
We didn't, that first day when I was walking down the beach with the shark, and the mermaid, a truck went by with some military in it. That's all that I saw. There was not a presence. Really not a presence even in the airports very much.
No, but
No.
the first hotel, which was at a very nice spot, not the first one, but the one we stayed at. All the women were told, do not go outside unless there's at least 3 of you or a couple. Like a man and a woman. Women are not allowed to go out because you're not safe. A week prior in that same city, a woman was raped on a bus by 12 men. So I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
We didn't
so-
buy anything, we didn't sightsee, we didn't travel, we
Yeah,
traveled,
we
we
had
didn't.
really no other touring or anything, but again, we, just like our other trips, there was never a moment when we did not feel safe. So. Look forward to taking you on a trip, maybe not that far sometime, but we'll take another. Thanks. Get a boss.
Oh, gosh, thanks, Gary. Do I give you a
Never
bug
go
back?
back to India.
No. Well,
Some tea.
we'll keep it easy, give you a few minutes back of your day. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming, and see you soon.